We hadn't touched in 3 months. Not a kiss, not a reach in the dark. Not even that passing brush of skin in the hallway that signifies a connection. She still cooked sometimes. She still asked if I'd taken the trash out. She still sat beside me on the couch, purely out of muscle memory. But she didn't look at me. And when I looked at her, really looked, I saw it. She was gone. Not physically, not officially, but gone in that specific way where a woman's body remains in the house, but her soul has packed up and moved somewhere else. I remember the exact moment it broke inside me. I was in bed, scrolling through an old playlist, the one we used to play on Sunday mornings back when she'd wear one of my t-shirts and dance barefoot in the kitchen, back when her hand would find mine without needing a reason. She came in late, smelling like the wind and perfume. She changed in the bathroom with the door shut, the light leaking under the frame like an interrogation room. When she climbed into bed next to me, I turned toward her gently. There was no pressure, just hope. My hand touched her side. She flinched like I was a stranger. And then she said it. Quiet. Cold. I'm tired. Don't make this a thing. That was it. That was the line that ended something I didn't even know was dying. I turned away. I wasn't angry. I wasn't even sad yet. I just felt small. You don't realize how deep rejection can carve into a man until you reach out in the dark and the woman who once lit up at your touch pulls the covers tighter. I didn't beg. Not that night. Not the next. But something shifted. Not in her, in me. The morning after, I didn't try to kiss her goodbye. I didn't brush her back when she stood at the sink. I didn't say, "You look nice," even though she did. She noticed. She didn't say anything, but I saw it in the delay, in the pause before she handed me my coffee. In the glance that wanted to ask what's wrong, but was too proud to open that door. I left for work early. I didn't text her like I usually did. I didn't ask about dinner. That night, she brought takeout home, set the box on the counter, and grabbed plates. "You didn't eat?" she asked. "Had something at the shop?" I said. She nodded. No fight, no sarcasm, just the quiet thud of paper bags on granite. We ate in the same room, but it felt like we were on two different floors. Over the next few days, I kept the same rhythm. Show up, do my part, but no more reaching. I didn't bring her flowers just because. I didn't brush her shoulder as I passed. I didn't ask, "You okay?" when she stared too long at her phone. I stopped being the man who filled in her silences. It's strange what happens when a man stops asking for love. The world doesn't end. You don't explode. You just start noticing things you were too tired to see before. I noticed how she smiled at her phone, but never at me. I noticed how she started going to yoga again, even though she hated it last year. I noticed how she'd come home glowing, not flushed from sweat, but lit up like someone had really seen her. I didn't accuse her. I didn't snoop. I didn't touch her phone. But I saw the way she protected it now. Screen always down, notifications muted. She used to forget it in the laundry room. Now it was an extension of her hand. One night, I stood at the door before heading to the garage. She was in the kitchen facing away, scrolling. I watched her smile, that deep, private smile, the kind she hadn't given me in over a year. Then she caught herself, realized I might be watching, and snapped back into that neutral, flat face. That's when I knew she wasn't lonely. She was fulfilled, just not by me. Even then, I didn't say a word. I didn't want to beg, and I damn sure wasn't going to compete with a ghost. Instead, I started clearing space. Not in the drawers or closets, but in my mind, in my chest. I started building distance, not out of revenge, but because no man should have to campaign for the right to feel wanted in his own home. It was a Wednesday, overcast and quiet, the kind of day where the air feels like a held breath. I stopped by the auto shop near the job site to get new filters. Mike, the guy behind the counter, looked up from the register. "You still driving that silver Ford?" he asked. "Yeah." He nodded slowly. "I think I saw your wife last week. Thought it was your car." Probably was. She was with somebody. Younger guy, tall. Looked like they were arguing, but not really. You know the type. I didn't ask for more details. I didn't need to. I just paid for the filters and left. That night, she came home late. She didn't offer an excuse. She just dropped her keys, poured a glass of wine, and scrolled. No kiss, no question, not even a, "How was your day?" I watched her from the hallway, and I realized something simple. I didn't miss her. Not the version of her that stood there now, silent, beautiful, untouchable. She was like a sculpture in a house that used to be alive. 2 days later, her friend Danielle called me by accident. She thought she was texting Jenna. The message popped up on my notifications before I could ignore it. Got the beach house. Next weekend, locked in. Tell him it's a yoga retreat, followed by tears of joy emojis. I read it once. Twice. I didn't reply. I didn't even confront her that night. She came in all smiles, sat beside me, legs crossed toward me like she suddenly remembered I existed. "Movie night?" she asked. "Sure," I said. I watched her watch the screen, wondering if she even remembered what she'd planned behind my back. Halfway through, she laughed at something stupid. She tried to lean into me, and for a second I almost responded. Old reflex, old muscle memory. But I didn't. Instead, I stood up and stretched. "You okay?" she asked. "Yeah," I said. "Just tired." She tilted her head. "You've been tired a lot lately. Work's been heavy." She searched my face, waiting for more, for a reach, a crack in the armor. But I gave her nothing. And that scared her more than 1,000 questions ever could. That night, I sat on the back porch long after she went to bed. I watched the sky, heavy and still. I thought about how many men stay because they're afraid of starting over, afraid of being alone. But I was already alone. What I was afraid of now was staying. The next morning, I was up before her. Coffee already made. Trash out, laundry running, same chores, different man. I wasn't doing it to win her. I was doing it to clear my side of the street. She walked into the kitchen in a robe she used to wear just for me. Now it looked like camouflage. She yawned. "You're up early." "Lot to do," I said. "You okay?" "Sure." She lingered, like she felt something was off but couldn't name it yet. That afternoon, I opened a notebook, one I hadn't touched since we first moved in. I flipped past the budget pages, the home repair lists, the weekend plans we never did. I started a new page and titled it Ex-ID. Not dramatic, not revenge, just logistics. I made a list, separate accounts. Change beneficiary info, new mailing address, waiting on approval, secure valuables, file dates, conversation TBD. I moved slow and careful. I didn't touch anything of hers, but the room was changing, and I think she felt it. She came home that night with new candles. "I thought these smelled like fall," she said, setting them out. I nodded. "They do." She watched me from across the counter. "You're being weird." I shrugged. "Maybe I'm just tired of being invisible." She blinked. "What?" you asked, I said. "That's the answer." She didn't push, and I didn't offer more. That weekend, I went to the storage unit. Not ours, mine. I rented it 6 years ago. It held mostly tools, some books, a few boxes from before the marriage. Now, I brought clothes, personal files, photos of my father. I stood inside for a long time, not out of sadness, but to breathe. The silence didn't hurt here. It felt clean. Sunday night, she wore something soft and curled up next to me on the couch. "I miss us," she said. I looked at the TV. "We're still here." "No," she said, touching my arm. "I mean, really." I didn't answer because I knew what was coming. She leaned closer, whispering, "Maybe we could try being closer again." Her voice was low, sweet, the way it used to be. I turned toward her and looked her in the eye. "You don't get to disappear for months and come back like it never happened." She stiffened. "That's not fair." "No," I said. "What wasn't fair was me asking to be touched for a year and getting told I'm too needy." Silence. She looked away, stung. Not because I lied, but because I didn't. That night, I didn't pack anything. I didn't slam a door. I didn't sleep in the guest room. I just closed my eyes and dreamed in peace for the first time in months. Monday morning, she texted me at 9:42 a.m. "Thinking about you. Let's do something this weekend. Just us. No smiley, no heart. Too clean, too strategic." I didn't respond. At noon, I stepped out to grab coffee and ran into Erin, my mechanic's wife. We met a few times at the shop BBQs. She smiled, then squinted. Hey, is everything okay with you and Jenna? Why? She looked instantly awkward. Sorry, I didn't mean to pry. It's just, my cousin saw her downtown a few nights ago. Thought she was on a date. A date? Erin bit her lip. Could have been nothing. Just weird body language, I guess. He didn't think she was married. I smiled politely. That's useful information. She flushed. I didn't mean to cause. You didn't, I said. You just confirmed what I already knew. I nodded, thanked her, and walked away before the sympathy could show up. That night, Jenna made dinner. Pasta, garlic bread. Real effort. Smells good, I said. She beamed. We sat and ate in near silence. Halfway through, she reached across the table and touched my hand. Soft, intentional. Hey, she said. I know things have been weird, but I've been thinking a lot. Thinking's free, I said. She paused. I miss us. I miss being close. I want to get that back. I nodded. That's good. She waited, expecting more. When I didn't say it, she added, I want to fix this. Me too, I said. She exhaled, smiled, almost laughed. Really? I nodded. I've already started. She didn't catch the meaning. Not yet. Tuesday. She came into the garage while I was organizing tools. She wore a shirt of mine, no bra. Just like old times. Need help? I didn't look up. No thanks, just finishing up. She leaned against the frame, watching. You look good with your hands full. That line used to work. Now it felt like someone else saying it. Someone who read it off a cue card. I smiled thinly. Appreciate it. She stepped closer. Mark. I turned slowly. She was right there, hopeful, bare, desperate without saying it. She reached for my hand. I let her take it, then pulled it back. You're too late. That night, I emailed the divorce attorney. Subject line, green light. She woke up before me the next day. That hadn't happened in over a year. She made coffee, set my mug exactly how I like it. 2 sugars, no cream, and sat across from me at the table, saying nothing, just watching me drink. You have plans today? She finally asked. Yep. Want company? No. She flinched, smiling too fast. Okay, just thought I'd ask. I left the house without a kiss, without a backward glance. I drove to the storage unit and brought the last of what I needed. My late mother's jewelry box, 3 framed photos from before we met, my father's military flag. I didn't take much, just the things that wouldn't survive her hands. By Thursday, she was spiraling. She cleaned the whole house, washed all the sheets, bought groceries I hadn't mentioned needing, lit candles in the bedroom, left her phone face up for once. She came into the living room holding an old hoodie of mine. I found this in the laundry, she said, holding it to her chest like a memory. I didn't respond. She sat next to me. Too close, too eager. I want to talk, she whispered. About us. There is no us, I said. Her mouth opened, then shut. She sat there frozen, the hoodie crumpling in her lap. That night, she cried in the shower. I could hear it through the wall. She didn't try to hide it. But I didn't go in. I didn't knock. I didn't ask what was wrong because the man who once begged for connection was gone. Now, he was packing. Friday, I came home to find her sister in the kitchen, Lily. She looked at me, arms crossed. You're punishing her, she said. I raised an eyebrow. What for? She says you shut down. You stopped talking, stopped caring. She won't tell me why. Lily, I said. Did she tell you about the yoga retreat that was actually a beach house? Lily hesitated. No. I nodded, then asked her again. Did she tell you about the guy downtown? Lily watched me. She saw the stillness, saw the quiet fury under it. She didn't say another word. She just picked up her purse and left. Jenna stormed in 20 minutes later. You brought my sister into this? No, you did when you lied to her. She's worried about me. She should be. You're about to lose a husband who begged you to see him. She froze. Begged, she whispered. I nodded once. Past tense. She reached for me. I don't want to lose you. You already did. Saturday morning, she tried again. Made breakfast. Pancakes, my favorite. set the table like it was 2014, like we weren't two ghosts haunting the same kitchen. I sat down and ate in silence. She watched me with hope leaking from her eyes. I canceled the yoga weekend, she said softly. I nodded. I told Danielle I'm not going anywhere next month. Still quiet. She leaned in. I'm not seeing anyone, Mark. I know what it looked like, but I swear. You don't have to lie anymore, her voice cracked. I'm not. You are. But it doesn't matter, she blinked. It doesn't? No, I said, putting down my fork. Because I wouldn't stay even if you told me the truth. That hit harder than shouting ever could. She stared at me like I was a stranger. Maybe I was. Maybe the man she ignored for months finally died, and this one was what came after. Later that day, I opened the drawer with all our documents. Insurance, titles, tax records, marriage certificate. I placed a new folder on top. Separation draft. I didn't hide it. I didn't warn her. I just left it there. She found it that night. I heard her breathing change when she saw the label, heard the drawer shut harder than it needed to. She came into the bedroom, eyes red, hands shaking. You're serious, she said. Yes. You're just giving up. I looked at her calm. I already gave everything. You just didn't notice until I stopped. That night, she didn't sleep. I did. Because when a man stops begging for love, he starts recovering. Sunday, she asked if we could talk. We sat in the garage, neutral ground. She cried, pleaded, said the words I once would have killed to hear. You were right. I was selfish. I took you for granted. I made you feel like nothing. But you're not nothing. You're everything. I let her finish, then said one sentence. I believed that once. You made sure I don't anymore. She shattered right there on the concrete, not because I yelled, not because I cursed, but because I was done without needing to prove it. I moved out on a Tuesday. No fight. No final conversation. Just a truck, a storage unit, and a key left on the counter. She came home to silence. She called me. I let it ring. She called again and again. Left a voicemail. You can't just leave without talking to me. This isn't over. But it was. That night, she drove to my friend Nate's place, the one guy she always hated. He texted me before she even parked. Your girl's here, wants to talk. I replied, she's not my girl. Keep it that way. She tried everything after that. Emails, old photos sent at 2:30 a.m., a playlist called Remember Us. She offered therapy, begged for coffee, just one conversation. I answered once. Conversations don't fix months of silence. You chose your way. I'm choosing mine. The house stayed in her name. I didn't want it. Too many memories packed into the drywall. I let her keep the furniture, the decor, the plants, she said. I watered wrong. I took only what mattered. My tools, my books, my time, especially my time. Weeks passed. Then a letter came, handwritten, 3 pages. She said she felt haunted, that the house didn't feel like home anymore, that every room echoed with what could have been. She ended it with, you used to say I was your piece. Now I realize you were mine. I just didn't know how to hold it. And no one builds a home on ice. I saw her once more by accident, a grocery store, late evening. She looked thinner, hair different, eyes older. She noticed me second, froze mid-aisle, then gave a small, unsure wave. I nodded. That's all. She took a few steps toward me, stopped. We stood there 5 feet apart. 2 people with 100 shared memories and nothing left to say. Finally, she spoke. You look good, thanks. Long pause. I still think about you, she added. I nodded again. I don't blame you, I said. She swallowed hard. I know I was the problem. I know, I said. She searched my face for softness. There wasn't any left. I do things differently now, she said. I smiled. Just a little. Yeah, that's the curse. You only realize what you had right after it's gone. She didn't follow me to the register, didn't try to hug me, just stood there holding a bag of frozen peas, crying in silence. And I walked out. No hate, no heat, just clarity. That night, she sent one last message. If you ever want to try again, if there's any part of you that still believes in us, I didn't reply. Not because I was angry, but because I wasn't. You don't go back to a fire after you've learned to live without smoke. It's been 6 months. The apartment is small. Sunlight hits the kitchen around 7,005 every morning. I know because I make coffee at the same time every day now. There's no yelling, no guessing games, no sleeping on emotional landmines. Just space, peace, order. I started working out again, not to prove anything, just because I like how it feels to sweat without pressure. To build without begging. To feel like a man without needing someone else to remind me I am one. Sometimes I think about her. Not with hate, not with longing, just with distance. Like a book I used to reread, thinking the ending would change, but it never did because it wasn't fiction. It was just done. A friend asked me recently, would you ever get back with her if she really changed? I didn't even blink. No, not even a little. Why? Because the version of me who would have said yes died in that house. He nodded. Didn't ask again. I see couples now, some happy, some lying to themselves. And I can spot the silent men, the ones begging without words, doing dishes for affection, planning dates they don't even enjoy, pretending they don't care about intimacy because she hasn't touched them in months. I see them because I was them. And if I could tell them one thing, it would be this. Stop shrinking to stay loved. You weren't made to disappear quietly. I don't date yet. Not because I'm bitter, but because I'm rebuilding with care. This time, no half-truths, no performance love, no chasing someone who needs to be convinced you matter. The last time I heard from her was 2 months ago. A voice memo. 1 minute and 12 seconds. She was crying. I get it now. You needed love, not lessons, and I gave you silence when you were screaming inside. I listened once, then deleted it. Because healing isn't listening to old pain. It's knowing you finally run out of reasons to keep holding it. My peace isn't loud. It doesn't brag. It doesn't post quotes or burn bridges. It just shows up every morning with coffee at 7001 feed and a man who finally learned to love himself more than he feared being alone. Some men walk away in silence, not because they're weak, but because that's when they're strongest.